Ladies and gentlemen, we inaugurate this evening for our Maxwell House audience a new feature of our program, which will grow in time, we hope, to become an institution. We're calling it the MGM Theater of the Air, and it is our plan to present here, from time to time, distinguished pieces of dramatic writing, especially suited to radio, and played by MGM's outstanding stars. To open our imaginary new playhouse, Miss Crawford has chosen a dramatic interlude that is neither playlet nor sketch, but a kind of soliloquy in words and music. It was written by Arch Obliger and is called Dark World. To play it, we present one of the brightest stars in all the blue sky of Hollywood, Joan Crawford. In tonight's drama, Miss Crawford plays the part of Carol Matthews. The scene, a hospital room. Two nurses are in the room. One of them is writing on a chart.
Died 2 a.m. Carol Matthews. Oh, Margaret. Margaret, let's get out of here.
Why, Amy, what's the matter? Oh, now, Amy.
I can't help it.
I just don't get it. All the time you've been on the staff, I've never seen you act this way over losing a case. And especially this one. Blind and paralyzed and helpless.
Oh, that's just it. For 25 years, from the hour she was born, Carol Matthews had nothing but loneliness and misery. And then to die like that, never having known anything but darkness. Oh, it isn't fair. It isn't fair.
She liked you, didn't she, Amy?
Yes, I think she did. When I'd come into the room, she always seemed to know. She'd turn her face toward the door, and she'd say very softly, "Hello, Amy." "Hello, Amy."
Hello, Amy.
"Hello, Amy."
No, you can't hear me, can you? And yet I must speak while I'm still here close to you. You said I'd never known anything but darkness. You're very wrong, Amy. There was never any darkness in my room. How could there be? The skies that I saw never clouded. The flowers never faded. The trees were always fresh and green. I saw a lovely world in my darkness, Amy. Lovely.
And to think, Margaret, all those years in bed, never moving, nothing happening, day after day after day. If she'd had my eyes, if she could have moved around like I do, the world would have been hers.
The world, Amy? Why do you want to give me what I've already had? I had so much. Yes, lying there, I had the world. Don't you remember? You gave it to me. Victor Hugo and Joseph Conrad and all the rest. Theirs weren't just words printed on white pages as you read them to me. They were white, flaming magic that carried me far away from here to the sea. The wind and the hurricane, men fighting for life. I tell you, I was there. I was there. Oh, Amy, have you forgotten Charles Dickens, Paris? The roar of the streets and the revolution. Crowds pushing, fighting all round me. And all the world dying and a new one struggling its way up through blood. And I was there. Amy, I was there. Oh, yes. Whatever you read to me, Amy, wherever the place or whatever the time, the past or the future, that's where I was, Amy. How could you forget?
And Margaret, she must have been very lonely. No one ever coming here to visit her. No one in the world who cared whether she lived or died. So lonely. So lonely.
Lonely? Oh, Amy. Didn't you ever understand about my friends? Why, they were the greatest friends a woman ever had. I chose them from the good and the great. They used to come into this room, yes, and talk to me. The Brownings, Oh, such charming people. And Shakespeare. I used to argue with him. And Keats. And Walt Whitman. Oh, yes, he was here, too. He taught me not to be afraid. Don't you remember how he said, I was thinking the day most splendid till I saw the night. I was thinking this globe enough till there sprang out so noiseless around me myriads of other globes. Lonely. Oh, my dear, was ever a woman more fortunate than I? The box that stood beside the bed. You talked of playing records. But again, it was a visit from my friends. Beethoven, here in my room when I was weary. He understood. He'd play so softly, with tired fingers. Here, I tell you. And I'd know it was for me. And Schubert, and Brahms, and Mozart, and all of them, my friends. Lonely. Oh, no, Amy, the days weren't long enough.
And she was so beautiful. So very beautiful. I don't know exactly how to say it, but she was like a flower, hidden away in a dark forest. Every time I'd go out with Danny, I used to think of her lying here. More beautiful than anyone I've ever known. And she had no one. No one.
No one, Amy. There was someone. His name? Well, he didn't have a name. But he was there when I was tired and needed him. Oh, yes, you had your Danny. But in your heart, Amy, I knew there was someone else. Someone that you had dreamed of. Someone you'd never meet, perhaps. Someone you'd forget, as all women forget when they marry their Dannies. But I didn't have to forget the one in my heart, Amy. He was real to me. As real as my friends that came to me with their words and music whenever I stretched out my hand. As real as that lovely world that was mine alone. A dream world, Amy. What are dreams? What is real and unreal? We see only what we want to see. I made a world in my darkness where everyone walked in loveliness, where things were as they might someday be. It's almost time, Amy. Yes, I hear you. Yes. I must move on, Amy. Thank you for your pity. But pity is only for those who have nothing. And I had a world where all was beauty. Oh, yes, Amy, believe me, I was very happy.
That was truly a marvelous performance, Joan.
Thank you, Bob.
Joan, I think you've set a very high standard for our new MGM Theater of the Air. If we can keep it going as well as you've started it, we'll be doing a swell job.
You kidding?
No, I really mean it. And I think that right now you ought to make a curtain speech, just to give the official touch to our theater opening.
Well, Bob, you know, working in pictures, our little practice we get in making curtain speeches. But I would like to say that I'm extremely proud that I was chosen to inaugurate your MGM Theater of the Air.
Thank you, Joan. And you'll stick around for the rest of the program and say hello to some of the other people, won't you?
I wouldn't miss it, Bob.
What do you think I did 5 minutes ago?
What?
I poured the cream in Joan Crawford's Maxwell house.
You did.
I did. And you know what else?
What?
I don't think she knows Frank Morgan.
I told you that. You noticed he disappeared about 15 minutes ago.
The big phony. There he is now, sneaking in the side door. Grab him.
Hey, Frank, come over here, you faker.
Hello, fellas. I gotta go home. I forgot something when I left the house this morning.
What did you forget?
Well, I forgot to stay there. You know, I'm suffering from diaphoresis of the thrombolo.
Plain English, you mean you're scared to meet Joan Crawford.
Certainly. Who's scared? Why, I could meet her 20 times and never bat an eyelash. Joan and I are just like that. I've known her ever since I was a baby. I mean, ever since she was a baby. And what a baby. Oh, yeah. She's gone home, hasn't she?
Don't be silly. She wouldn't leave without saying hello to her old friend, Frank Morgan. Eh, Meredith?
No, sir.
Hey, Joan.
There's that pain again. Microphagy of the hemoglobin. I gotta go home.
Hello, boys.
Hello, Joan. Here's an old friend of yours, Joan.
Hee.
Why, Ducky Morgan.
Who turned the lights out?
Ducky Morgan. Joan, do you know him?
Of course I know him, Ducky. Have you forgotten Twinkie Crawford?
Twinkie?
Yeah, I thought she said Twinkie, too.
But I am Twinkie.
Yeah, and I'm Ducky.
Well, if you're Twinkie and he's Ducky, I'm Wacky.
I can't believe it.
Oh, those are just pet names, Bob. We called each other Ducky and Twinkie during one of the most hilarious weekends I ever spent in my life. It was at a house party on Lake Winnipesaukee.
Oh, sure. Now it all comes back to me. Good old Lake Winnipesaukee. Right in the middle of Illinois.
New Hampshire.
Oh, yes. That's right. Oh, did they move it again? Anyhow, I'll never forget the sun rising every morning over Mount Baldy.
That's right.
It is?
Of course, Ducky. And don't you remember every morning you'd go fishing and I'd go along to carry your creel?
Oh, you carried my creel. Yes. Oh, the fishing was marvelous at Lake Winnipesaukee. Bob, finest fly fishing I ever saw in my life.
Fly fishing, wet or dry?
Well, I always had a bottle with me.
Yes, the creel was full of them.
No kidding, Bob. I took more trout from that lake, Winnipesaukee, than ever saw in your life. I never saw such game fish. Why, all the girls at the house party used to come running down to the lake and cluster around me while I fished.
What kind of bait did you use?
Well, I just wink at them and they'd follow me right down the lake. Oh, you mean the fish? Oh,
Yes, Ducky.
oh, yeah, I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. Taking my line.
Meredith, don't take it so hard.
It was a good line.
Oh, this will surprise you, but I don't think the fellows here believe that you and I were so, clubby. In fact, I was beginning to doubt it myself.
Oh, Ducky, you always were crazy.
Well, I still am. Isn't it wonderful?
Well, Joan, I've got to admit I was a little suspicious. Possibly I owe my colleague here an apology.
My dear sons, think nothing of it. To err is human, to forgive divine. I forgive you. You too, Meredith.
I can't believe it.
The winner.
Oh, I've got the wrong moment. You boys have been swell to me. Goodbye, Meredith. Goodbye, Bob. And I can hardly wait to get home and tell Franco that I found my old friend Ducky here.
Oh, yeah. Say hello to Franco for me, Twinkie.
Oh, I will. He'll certainly be thrilled to know I ran into our good old Ralph Morgan.
Ralph Morgan. Oh, my back. I've got a sudden attack of arthrosis of the hypercomie. I'll see you later, fellas. Call me at the hospital. So long.